So I'm out in some pretty miserable weather here. It's very wet and rainy. So I thought I'd take this as an opportunity to just give you a walk round on the on-running Cloudventure waterproof shoe. I've even insanely taken one foot out to show you the grip. There's some features I really like on this shoe, and I've not really run in anything quite like it before on trail. And I'm on rocky, wet, muddy trail today. The first thing I like, and it sounds insane, but the shoelaces are the right length. So when I do it up, it just leaves a knot, and there's no 8 miles of shoelace trailing behind. There's so many shoes I've got where they give you a stupid amount of shoelace, so it's actually great to get that. What you've also got on the upper here is their waterproof membrane. You can see it's really good at repelling water. My feet are actually completely dry inside this, which is amazing. It's almost like witchcraft. And the membrane is actually still breathable as well. And you'll probably see in some photos from the blog I did, even this top tongue part here is repelling the water. So even splashes coming right up round here keeps the water out. So that's great. And you can see, probably looking down on the shoe as well, that actually there's a good width on it. I think some of the running companies have a tendency to make shoes too narrow, and I actually quite like the width on these. But really the fun stuff is underneath. So the first thing to note here, you can see, is the kind of squishy bits at the bottom here, these bits that squish as you run. And it's quite a strange experience running in it. The easiest way to describe it is if you go running in these, when you initially run in them, and I'm used to wearing quite cushioned trainers for ultra trail races, you sort of think, well, that's weird. These are really stiff. These shoes are really stiff. They haven't got a lot of padding. But actually what's going on is the squish of these as you put your foot down is absorbing the impact. And then when they're squished, as you push off with your next push with your foot, you've got a really rock solid shoe to push against. So instead of cushioning in a way like sponge does, which means ultimately you're running effectively on sponge, what these do is they're more like a spring. So as you put your foot down, they take the impact, but then as you push off, they're rock solid, so you get a really efficient push off from them. So actually I really like them. They take some getting used to, but I like the way they run. They're incredibly cushioned at the heel, which is great when I'm doing sort of speedier descents. I find descents terrifying on these sort of rocky trails in New England, and they're really thick padding here on the back, so it gives you a bit more confidence and a bit more cushioning when you get hammering. But also the midsection is really interesting. It's rock solid. I mean, it actually feels like hard plastic. And again, it's narrower here in the middle, but this really strong sort of torsion bar through the middle makes these really stable over rocks. I know exactly what I'm doing. I know exactly where I'm putting my feet, which means I'm less likely to go over on my ankle. And then the grip themselves, you can see they've sort of thrown everything at it. So there's sort of multiple directions and multiple types of grip. And as a result, they're actually really grippy. Wet rock, squishy mud. And the best thing is you've got grip on mud with these, but you've also, they're not clogging. So you've got grip on rock, grip in the mud, but they're not clogging in the mud. So you can see the mud's not getting caught up in all the grooves, which surprises me. Because when I first looked at these, I thought, well, the mud's going to get caught up inside all of these, but they don't. So there you go. You've got a nice big rubbery kind of rock toe guard on the front. And they're quite stiff and waterproof right up to the back for splashes. If I was to have one gripe, I'd love it if they did an ankle version. I'd love it if they did like almost like an ankle boot, higher one, so that there's a bit more splash kept out and a bit more ankle stability. That would probably be my only gripe. But other than that, these are superb. Bear in mind, I think these are great for running in the rain on days like today, but you do sacrifice some breathability to have a waterproof shoe, and therefore if you run in these on a day when it's not raining, you'll notice that your feet get quite a lot more clammy. There's always a trade-off. So there you go. That gives you a quick little review, a quick little idea. You can see them all guts and glory out in the rain, but that's the on-running Cloudventure, and these are the waterproof versions.